The first question is how to mentally and energetically meet, thrive, and vibrate at one's highest when experiencing extended illness and pain.
So the first thing to do is to recognize that validation of the experience will naturally bring you higher. So whenever there is suffering, radical acceptance of the suffering will automatically elevate your frequency and it will liberate you. So that means if there's pain, if there's fatigue, if there's negative emotion or negative thoughts, whatever it is, just accepting that that's happening, validating that that's a necessary step, that right there will create levity right away. Resistance to it, this is bad, this is wrong, blame, will cause this type of energy stagnation and the corresponding symptoms to become more greatly densified. Because if negative views are used, if resistance is used, this will cause one's consciousness to synchronize with the deeper levels of the earth experience, and that can actually crystallize those symptoms to a certain degree. So through the acceptance, through the validation of the suffering, that type of densification is prevented, and it allows for the spiritual intelligence of nature itself to begin to once more flow through you. So the first step is that acceptance. It is that validation. The other thing to emphasize here is the following. Do not chase the highest when you are at your lowest. It might seem like that's the thing to do, but that's compensation. That's ego compensation. I'm at my lowest, so I need to grab my highest. That's like a person who has social anxiety, who perhaps doesn't talk to people or feels uncomfortable most of the time. They're a little quiet, reserved, who then to compensate shifts into hyper posturing, becoming overconfident, maybe even sort of a dominator. To the ego, it will look like the opposite of the situation is where they need to move to, where they need to go to. That's not the case. What you are to move into is the next rung on the ladder. Gradually raise your frequency. How to do this? Once you have gone through the acceptance, the validation, and this is not just a simple, I accept it, I validate it. Bring that awareness through your whole body. Let it be a whole process. Wash your body. Do body scanning with your consciousness. Go into that deep acceptance. I accept my body as it is. I accept my template. I accept my DNA. I accept all manifestations. Really go into that. Let it be a deep experience. Once you are here, once you have fully accepted this and you have gone into a state of peacefulness, and that might not be perfect peace, but it will be relaxing. It will feel better. Once you are at that level of openness, then begin to replay the moments of your timeline that have brought you joy, that have brought you satisfaction, that have brought you pleasure. Just start to see a little movie go one by one by one, and you're going to start to feel positive energy circulating through you. You might even feel pleasure in whatever energy center you're visualizing this sequence of events. And you can rearrange the order, whatever you like. You don't have to follow those events linearly. Just pick the best of the best, go into those positive states. And once you feel that energy really glowing, start to circulate that through the body and bring that energy to the areas of discomfort. Start to breathe into those areas and start to bring that pleasure, that satisfaction, that enjoyment into the regions where suffering once dwelt, but no longer. If you can bring those energies to those areas that were resonant with suffering, those energies will transform that blueprint. They will bring that area back into alignment. So again, this is a deep process, not something done lightly, not something done for 2 minutes. If you really immerse those positive feelings into those areas, you'll start to see the symptoms reduced. You'll also start to see that your body returns to alignment. So you may have to supplement this with something. Maybe you're working with a physician. Maybe you're working with a natural doctor. Whomever you're working with, continue those protocols and use that energy of transformation to accelerate the healing process. And what's going to happen is That positive energy translates as you grabbing that next rung on the ladder. And as the energy builds, the next, the next, the next, and you gradually begin to elevate your frequency back to that level of infinite alignment, which you describe as the highest level. If you just go right to the highest, you may find that the ladder's quite tall. And if you're not feeling up to it, it might be challenging to make that leap. So go step by step by step and be patient with that, be accepting of that, because that's what's going to allow for you to make it to that place of integration more smoothly. But that starts with you. It starts with you. You pull that through you, through remembering the positivity you've always contained. When you review the best of your timeline, that energy becomes apparent.
Thank you very much. Such a useful information.
You're very welcome.
Our audience